Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the hour of 9:45 having arrived, I'd like to call the Tuesday, October 14th, 2014 County Board meeting to order. I'd like to ask the clerk to call the roll.
Allen.
Present.
Walker.
Here.
Barrio. Here. Castro. Yes. Davis. Here. Donahue. Here. Forrest. Here. Frost. Here. Gillum.
Here.
Heyman.
Here.
Bochet. Here. Kenyon. Here. Kazari. Here. Mosh.
Here.
Lewis. Here. Molina. Present. Pollock. Here. Sheffro.
Here.
Silva.
Here.
Smith.
Here.
Sterrett.
Present.
Taylor. Vasquez. Here. Winicki.
Here.
Okay, we have a quorum. We'll go forward with the meeting. I'd like to ask Miss Joanne Zethan with the Kane County Association of Home and Community Education to come to the microphone to lead us in the pledge. Please stand for the pledge and remain standing for the prayer.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, and please remain standing. I'd like to ask Pastor Keith Hallen, who is the pastor at Sanctuary Church in Batavia, to come to the microphone to lead us in prayer.
Let's pray together, shall we? Lord, thank you for the privilege of being in a position of servanthood today. Remind us when we get a little too heady that we're here not to get our way, but to lead this county your way. We have a lot of business to tend to and a lot of people to think of in the process. Help us to think of them as more than constituents, more than just a source of revenue. Lord, they're people made in your image who deserve the very best that we can give them today. We confess that sometimes the job overwhelms us. We know the decisions we make will please some and anger others. That alone keeps us up at night. How thankful we are that we don't have to go it alone. You promise to be with us and to guide us through the maze of choices that we face. You said quite clearly that if anyone lacks wisdom, let him ask, and it'll be given to him. God, we need your wisdom. Forgive us for feeling a little too big for our britches at times and considering you an intrusion rather than a source of help, joy, peace, and the author of life itself. We commit this meeting to you today and pray that each of us will be cognizant of your presence and do our job with a humble and willing spirit. For it's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor. And thank you, Joan. Okay, next is approval of the minutes for September 14th. May I have a motion and a second to approve the minutes from the September 14th, 2014 meeting? Moved by Ms. Sterrett, Mrs. Predescu, and second by Joe Heyman. Now, how should I refer to, should I still say
Susan?
Susan. Okay, all right. And then second by Joe Heyman. So are there any thoughts, comments, changes? All those in favor of approving the minutes say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Ayes have it. So the motion passes, minutes are approved. In the presentation discussion today, I believe that we have three presentations. The first one is that I'd like to ask Joan Zethan with the Kane County Association of Home and Community Education and board member Barb Winicki to come forward to recognize October as Home and Community Education Month. I understand, Barb, that you're going to be reading would you like a motion before or after you read the? Now, let's have I'd like to ask for a motion and a second to approve Resolution 14-280. The motion is made by Ms. Allen, and I'll have it seconded by Ms. Winicki. Okay?
Or vice versa.
Yeah. And then we'll go into the presentation portion. Yes, I think that's good.
Resolution number 14 community education, thank you, was organized under the name Illinois Home Bureau Federation for the purpose of improving rural living and family and community life. And whereas Illinois Association for Home and Community Education was initiated in July 1915, an advisor was hired by the University of Illinois to develop a home improvement association. Kane County joined this University of Illinois Extension program in 1918. And whereas Illinois Association for Home and Community Education evolved from Kane County Home Bureau Federation to Kane County Homemakers Education Association to the 2008 change, Kane County Association for Home and Community Education. And whereas Kane County Association for Home and Community Education is based at the University of Illinois Extension, 535 Randall Road, St. Charles, Illinois. And whereas Kane County Association for Home and Community Education is dedicated to addressing the issues of community outreach, cultural enrichment, family living, international study, public relations, and community involvement for the entire population of Kane County, regardless of race, color, national origin, sex, age, or creed. Now therefore be it resolved that the Kane County Board wishes to recognize October as Home and Community Education Month, passed by the Kane County Board on October 14th, 2014. And congratulations.
Thank you. I want to thank the board and Mr. Lawson for presenting this again. I think this is my 4th year doing this. I'm in public relations, secretary, managing secretary of the Kane County Board of the board. The Illinois Association has only been cooking for 90 years. We are 96. They came from us. So we're cooking this year, promoting our association. Now I hope everyone has gotten their purple pencil. If you haven't, speak up now, or forever hold your peace. I'd like the directors or councilmen or whatever you call yourselves for Kane County, if anyone comes to you and says, I'm bored, I don't have nothing to do, promote this organization. We are desperately looking for members. We are losing ours, not because they don't want to be with us, because they're dying. Also, I'm going to present Nancy here, who is the president of the Plato Center Unit, which I'm a member, and she's also secretary of the board. She has brochures promoting our association to join, and if anyone's interested, she will gladly hand them out. So thank you again, and I hope to see you next year. Thank you.
Good. Thank you. Okay, next on the agenda is Kane County Medical Society. I'd like to ask Dr. Wayne Pollock, a historian and representative from the Kane County Medical Society, board members Dr. Monica Silva and Susan Sterrett-Predescu to come forward and recognize the 175th anniversary of the Kane County Medical Society. I understand that you'll share responsibilities in reading the certificate, and but let's begin with a motion and a second to approve Resolution 14-281. So moved by Dr. Silva, second by Mrs. Sterrett-Predescu. It's going to take me a little while to get used to it. So,
it's all right.
Good. All right.
Certificate of Recognition, recognizing the 150th anniversary of the Kane County Medical Society. Whereas the Kane County Medical Society, a direct descendant of the Fox River Valley Medical Association, has been in continuous operation since September 1st, 1864. And whereas with the election in 1864 of Joseph Teft, MD of Elgin, Illinois, as the first president of the Fox River Valley Medical Association, there has been a continuous succession of presidents of both organizations, including the current president of the Kane County Medical Society, Brad Epstein, MD of Elgin, Illinois. And whereas since 1866, the Kane County Medical Society continues to send delegates to Illinois State Medical Society and American Medical Association meetings. And whereas for the past 150 years, many members of the Fox River Valley Medical Association and the Kane County Medical Association have served in a variety of elected offices in local government and served as physicians and surgeons in the military branches of the federal government during peacetime and in war. And whereas the Kane County Medical Society has adopted the Code of Medical Ethics of the American Medical Association as a model of physician fidelity and ideals in its bylaws.
Whereas the Kane County Medical Society has continuously promoted through education, petition, and legislation the improvement of the public health of the local community, state, and nation. And whereas the Kane County Medical Society has continuously aided its physician members through education, mutual consultation, and fellowship in their duties of caring for their patients. And whereas the Kane County Medical Society is proud of its honorable history spanning the past 150 years, and whereas from this rich history, the Kane County Medical Society takes renewed devotion of its duties and obligations to support its physician members in their difficult and sacred calling to care for patients and to promote the public health. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Kane County Board hereby recognizes and salutes the Kane County Medical Society on its 150th anniversary. Passed by the Kane County Board on October 14th, 2014. Congratulations.
I'm a historian. I just have a couple of brief notes. I know we're all used to the Colossus to the east of Chicago, but the first medical school in Illinois was actually in St. Charles. It's where the courthouse, not the courthouse is, but the municipal building is. And it started in 1842 and it closed in 1849. The reason why it closed in 1849 was it was called the Franklin School of Medicine. And the reason why it closed was that some of the medical students had gone out to Sycamore and dug up a body and brought it back. The family found out, brought reports vary between 40 and 200 angry Sycamoreans over who basically confronted the medical student and the advisor there and the head and basically shot the place up, killed the medical student, and the medical school was forced to close shortly after that. So that was a little bit of history. A couple of conclusions is that I tell people living in the suburbs isn't necessarily boring. As a physician, I still drive through Sycamore very, very slowly because I never know who some of the family members out there are very angry. And we're not digging bodies up anymore. We've gotten a little bit better than that. But they were dedicated folks, maybe a little bit misguided. But we're very pleased for 150th anniversary. We hope to be around for another 150 years serving the county and your family and the citizens of Kane County and beyond. Thank you so much for this honor. Again, I'd like to thank your staff for helping us put together. I really want to thank them for helping us guide through this process. I wasn't quite sure what to do, but they were very helpful in that. I want to thank them for that. Again, thank you for this honor.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Silva and Mrs. Sterrett-Pradescu. Let's see, I'd like to call for a vote on both of those, and with your permission, we'll call the roll on those together. So the clerk will call the roll on both of those together.
Allen. Aye. Auger.
Yes.
Barry. Yes. Castro. Yes. Davis. Yes. Donahue. Yes. Ford. Yes. Rod.
Yes.
Gillen.
Yes.
Heyman.
Yes.
O'Shea.
Yes.
Kenyon. Yes. Nazari. Yes. Lash. Yes. Lewis. Yes. Molina. Yes. Pollock. Here. Yes. Sheffro. Yes. Silva. Yes. Smith. Yes. Susan.
Aye.
Taylor.
I think.
Taylor. Yes. Okay, thank you. Vasquez.
Yes.
Winnicki.
Yes.
Okay, both motions pass. I'd like to add Ms. Taylor to the roll call. Okay, next on the agenda is the concept video for Long Meadow Parkway. I'd like to ask Board Member and Vice Chairman Drew Fraz, along with Mike Sikosik from Kane County Department of Transportation, to show us the Long Meadow Parkway concept video. So, Mr. Fraz?
Board, Mr. Chairman, we had a video presented to us at Transportation last month, and it was really cool, and we wanted to share it with you. As you know, the Long Meadow Bridge and Corridor project went from an idea to a concept. It's now becoming a reality, at least on paper, as the engineering moves forward. But our engineering firm and KDOT produced a video that takes us actually to completion, and it's really a neat thing to watch.
Thanks. Mike's back at the office working, so
So I present to you Mr. Carl Shadle.
you got the next best thing. You know, they say a picture is worth 1,000 words, and I think a video is worth 1,000 pictures sometimes. So it's nice to finally see some of this coming together.
This starts out with Maggie and Becky canoeing up the river.
What you're going to see here is really the what we call the segment Contract 3, which covers the main bridge over the Fox River, as you can see, and basically stretches between Route 25 and Route 31. That's the bike path overpass there in Bruner. You're heading eastbound here. You can see old Bowles Road next to the corridor. That roundabout there is the connection between Bowles Road and the new Long Meadow Parkway corridor.
Don't be scared, Tia. You can do it.
What's the speed limit here?
55.
Those cars are going awful fast.
Yeah, there's no speed limit on that bridge.
All right, now we're going to cross back over the bridge going westbound. You can see the that's a toll canopy there for just for conceptual purposes.
See, look how fast this guy's going.
The bike riders are riding pretty fast also.
I know. Feels like that's
And now you're back into the Bruner property. And there you have it.
Okay.
Thank you, Carl and Drew. With that, I think that we'll go on with the rest of the program. I believe that there are no speakers on agenda items today. The next item is zoning petitions. We have 3 zoning petitions to cover. I'd like to ask Development Committee Chairman Teresa Barrero to first make a motion and then to describe each of the zoning petitions.
Thank you, Chairman. I'd like to move all 3. Can I move all 3 and then just describe each one?
Okay, so moved, and then do we have a second? So moved by, seconded by Mr. Kozarik. And so if you'll go through each one individually, please.
Thank you. The first is in Rutland Township. The address is 19 North 401 Galligan Road, Section 2, Rutland Township. This is to expand existing B3 for business expansion and to bring property into compliance. Staff approved this, zoning board approved this, and our development committee approved this. The next one is
Oh, excuse me, if,
sorry.
while we're on that one, is there any discussion? Any thoughts? I know that we have 2 petitioner representatives, but if there's no discussion or questions, I believe that they're available here for answering any questions. Ms. Taylor?
Are the 2 petitioners for or against this?
They're the petitioner's
For it,
representatives.
okay.
Okay. Ms. Burrow?
The next one is petition number 4322. That is in Aurora Township. It is property located at 629 Montgomery Road in Aurora Township. They are rezoning the entire property to B3 district business with a special use for yard and building for storage of equipment and vehicles. The staff approved this, and zoning board approved this, and development approved this.
Okay, on this one, is there any discussion? Okay, Mr. Donahue?
Oh, yeah.
Just like to point out, there is a stipulation, you might want to include that.
Yes, thank you. Yes, we did have a stipulation that the site plan be updated to show a designated septic field area, which would remain in landscape in perpetuity.
Okay.
Mark, I believe, has some explanation on this stipulation.
Okay, Mr. Van Kerkhoff, and there is, Nick Mannheim is the petitioner's representative, but I think, Mark, you're going to
Yes,
address
good morning. In regards to that stipulation, it's been confirmed that the property has access to public sewer, so that stipulation is not required.
Thank you.
Okay, any other discussion? If not, number 3, Ms. Burrow.
Petition 4323, this is in Caneville Township. Petitioner is Dennis Long, and this is located at 3S015 and 2S919 Doberman Road in Caneville Township. They're rezoning from F District Farming to F1 District Rural Residential for 2 existing homes on the property. Staff approved it, zoning board recommended approving, and development approved it.
Okay, any discussion? Okay, and there is, Susan Long is here as the petitioner, but if there are no questions, anything else, Madam Chairman?
No, that's all.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Let's see. I have a voice vote on this, but roll call?
Roll call.
Yeah, roll call. Right, that's what I thought. Roll call.
Actually, read them all separate and vote on them separate.
Okay, well, in this
Read
case,
everything, too.
no controversy. Put them together. The motions are that way and the seconds, and so we'll ask the clerk to call the roll.
Allen. Auger.
Yes.
Barrio.
Yes.
Castro.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Donahue. Yes. Ford.
Yes.
Fries. Yes. Young.
Yes.
Heyman.
Yes.
Pochette.
Yes.
Kenyon. Yes. Kazari.
Yes.
Bosch.
Yes.
Lewis.
Yes.
Molina. Pollock. Yes. Sheffler.
Yes.
Silva.
Yes.
Excuse me. Smith. Yes. Susan.
Yes.
Taylor. Vasquez.
Yes.
Janicki.
Yes.
Okay, the motion with the 3 parts passes. Okay, as far as resolutions and ordinances, would anyone like to remove an item from the consent agenda? Mr. Vasquez?
14290.
Or, 290.
Yeah, 290.
14290.
Which one did you say?
14290. 290.
Okay, any others? Mr. Hoshite?
Just a point of clarification, Mr. Chairman. With respect to 289, I did not desire to remove that, but there was a question about the liability insurance that our new audit firm would have, and that's been resolved, increased to $5 million, which has been by agreement. So I just wanted to clarify that.
Good, thank you. Any other? Okay, if not, then I'd like to ask for a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda with the exception of number 14290. Motions made by Mr. Ford, second by Mr. Davist. Okay, and I'd like to ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Allen. Auger.
Yes.
Barrio. Yes. Castro. Yes. Davis. Yes. Donahue. Yes. Ford. Yes. Fries. Yes. Young.
Yes.
Yes.
Pochette. Yes. Kenyon.
Yes.
Kazari. Yes. Bosch. Yes. Lewis.
Yes.
Molina. Yes. Pollock. Yes. Sheffler. Yes. Silva. Yes. Smith. Yes. Susan. Aye. Taylor.
Yes.
Vasquez.
Yes.
Winnicki.
Yes.
Okay, the motion passes. Okay, going back to number 14-290. First, may I have a motion to approve Resolution 14-290? Ms. Allen, second by Mr. Fraz. Mr. Vasquez, I believe that you pulled it off the...
Yeah, the reason I pulled this one off is that I'm not comfortable with the column on the right-hand side that shows meeting attendance. I'm not sure that it's accurate, whether it's been audited, and it doesn't reflect anything as far as our meetings at the Forest Preserve. So this document, while we're required to publish the salaries, benefits, and all that, I don't think we're required to put the meeting attendance in it. And because I'm not sure that they're accurate, I'm comfortable for, passing that with that information on there.
Thank you, Mr. Vasquez. The information naturally is accurate. I understand your concern with the 27% attendance record for the meetings. The background is that
you've not attended any Forest Preserve, and you're required to do both. So,
no. Let me finish my sentence. The background of all the attendance is recorded and backed up. It's documented. So where those numbers, if you have any questions or if you'd like to personally audit the accuracy of that information, you'd be welcome to do it. We have that information for your disposal or any citizen's disposal.
Audited this.
Sorry?
Who did the audit on it?
No, I'm saying that you can personally audit. The person who has prepared this is Ms. McGrath. And this question is asked and answered many times a year. We go through the same standard procedure. And
we've never published a document like this with the meetings, Mr. Chairman, and we do have a website that has meeting attendance already on there.
Yes, I can understand.
Last year, that wasn't even updated at all.
I can understand your concern with 27% attendance.
Sure,
I believe it's
keep
the...
attacking me on my,
That's a statement of fact, not an attack. Yeah. Okay, any other thoughts? Ms. Taylor?
I'd like to know how come as an example, the not applicable is you yourself who has to report to meetings is showing not applicable for attendance.
I'd be happy to have my my finance executive and board meetings. I think that I've missed 2 meetings in 2 years. Actually, so that the members of the audience can see this, Mitzi, if you put that up on the screen if we're going to discuss it further. Are there any other questions, comments? Okay, Ms. Taylor?
When I read the ordinance, is there a reason that it's not reflecting the chairman position and just addressing the board member positions?
Ordinance. I'm happy to put my my time on task.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm going back to the ordinance itself. When I read it, it's in reference to board members, et cetera, and I'm wondering how come it's not. Maybe Ms. Castro knows.
Actually, I believe we do it every 2 years, and it's based on the elected offices that are up during that time frame. So you will see it again, I believe in 2015 for the 2016 election, and then you will see the chairman and any other elected office that is up.
Thank you.
Any other thoughts? Mr. Donahue?
This is a different matter. I spoke about this, I think, in my first term. I haven't really talked about it all in my second term, but, I think when we run for county board, we should be citizen legislators. We shouldn't run for either the salary or the benefits. And I argued in my first term that we should consider eliminating benefits for county board members, because I just don't think that should be the primary or even a secondary consideration for deciding whether or not you want to serve in this capacity. This data, actually, the reason I'm bringing it up is I never really had the data in front of me as clearly. And so looking at this over, I mean, if you look at the range of the total compensation provided to county board members, it ranges from a high of 46,600 approximately to a low of 26,900, depending on whether or not we take the benefits. So, I mean, that's nearly a $21,000 difference between members who take the benefits and don't take the benefits. This is a discussion for a later day. I won't be here to participate in it. But we talk about looking for areas to save money, for setting an example. And again, my personal belief is we should be citizen legislators at the local government level. So I would just put that on the table for future consideration in terms of how this board wants to consider the benefits, because $21,000 is nearly equal our salary of $25,000. So it's nearly a doubling, or not quite a doubling, of our compensation for people who take full benefits. So I throw that out there for next budget year consideration maybe, but I just feel that, and I've always felt this way. In fact, when I ran for the board, I didn't know what the salary or the benefits were, and it wasn't until actually I was elected and sworn in and went to the orientation that I learned there was a salary and benefits. I didn't even know it, and as naive as that sounds, that's the truth. So anyway, that's my feeling about it, and I just thought I'd share it.
Okay. I think that it's any person who would like to follow up on the suggestion and the opinion would be welcome to bring forward a motion at any of the committee meetings to implement, if they would want to do that, if they would want to go forward. So, you know, we could think about, well, what committee would that go to if that is any member of the board's preference to take action. Mr. Hoshait?
Just a point of clarification, the document that's posted on the screen here is not incorporated into the ordinance we're passing. It's additional information provided by staff that may or may not be accurate and is subject to debate. But I just want to make it clear. So if we vote for this ordinance, we're not voting for the accuracy of this document. In fact, the ordinance sets a salary at $25,000 per year, and it doesn't set benefits or otherwise. So I think those benefits exist by virtue of other policies we have that are, you know, part of the whatever the county code or what employment law requires. So in terms of moving this forward, we need to adopt an ordinance annually or periodically setting the salaries. And so I just want to make sure that by a yes vote on that, we're not voting to comment either way on the accuracy of the document that's here.
Okay. There was also discussion, maybe Mr. Vasquez, you'll bring it up at executive committee. Thank you, Mr. Hoshait. Mr. Vasquez?
Yeah, I suggested that we put, you know, some kind of asterisk saying, hey, this doesn't reflect all the meetings the county board members go to. But having heard that, you know, the accuracy of this document with the meeting attendance, you know, nobody's checked it out yet, I will make a motion that we amend this document to exclude that information.
Exclude?
It's not part of the resolution, is it?
Right, it's not part of the resolution, but based...
I understand, but this document is going with it.
Not going with the ordinance. It's an informational document. There's not going to be any board action taken on this document. It's presented by the chairman with respect to information concerning salaries and the help of Christina's group.
Then if it's going to be available, we should have the asterisk on there saying it does not reflect all the meetings.
Okay.
So
By the way,
I'll amend my motion to include an asterisk on this document that specifies that this does not include any portion of the forest preserve or other committee meetings that we attend.
we actually, Mr. Vasquez, we actually did follow up on that that concern that you had expressed at executive committee, and we did asterisk and then put something to the effect of, that this does not include forest preserve, both the compensation for forest preserve and also duties of forest preserve, because that's a different organization. But that asterisk was added to the package.
That's why I'm bringing it up.
This is a document that was used over at executive committee, so it wasn't updated. So the other one in the package does have the update, I'm told. Okay, any other thoughts, questions? Ms. Taylor, and then Mr. Frost.
Back to what Mr. Donahue was talking about with regards to the insurance. I do believe he has a valid point. However, I will point out that in the last 2 years, the entire insurance process has not been completed in a timely fashion, so that enrollment is happening in the same time schedule as the private sector. That in turn pushes certain certain people to have to take this insurance versus a different insurance based on the enrollment period. From what I understand, it's only been delayed a couple years after the chairman position has rotated. So I don't know what the challenges are as to why it can't get done, and it appears this year it's not getting done again this year also. That also plays a factor into this for people's insurance as to the choices of the time of year it happens.
Okay, there are several inaccuracies in that statement, but I respect your authority to make your point. Any other questions?
Just a couple of quick notes to Mike's point. I can talk from experience. You can't get out of the pension once you signed up. I tried to do that, and once you're an IMRF, you can't get out. So if we were to vote on that, we would be imposing our thoughts on future boards, which is fine. But I do got to say that, you know, as far as I know, we are the only county board in the state of Illinois that also sits on the Forest Preserve Board and the Health Board. So I think we're providing an excellent value, especially when you compare our salaries to our neighbors to the east.
Good. Thank you. I think, Mr. Sheffalo, you had your hand up.
Yes. Just a question. I think in terms of the cost of the health insurance, the board members contribute maybe $400 a month. I don't know if that's reflected in the number up there is maybe the total cost. It doesn't net out the total cost to the county for the insurance, but members also contribute some number. Is Sheila here? No. No one knows? Okay.
I don't know.
I'm hoping the total premium isn't that number plus the contribution, that it's
I'd have to ask our financial officer to take a look at that, after the meeting. Thank you. Any other thoughts? Mr. Pollack?
I want to make sure we do focus on what the actual resolution says. I know we've had discussions on the outside, but we're actually voting on a resolution that says we're not raising elected official salaries, and we're being responsible to the taxpayers not to raise our own salaries or raise other people's salaries. So a yes vote says that we stand for that principle, a no vote says that we don't. So.
Thank you, Mr. Pollack, for bringing us back onto the subject. Okay.
could also mean we don't make enough money.
Okay. Okay, if there's no other comments, I'd like to, we have a motion and a second. I'd like to ask the clerk to call the roll.
Allen. Auger.
Yes.
Barrera. Yes. Castro.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Donahue. Yes. Ford.
Yes.
Fries. Yes. Gillen.
Yes.
Heyman.
Yes.
Boucher.
Yes.
Kenyon.
Yes.
Stark. Yes. Lash. Lewis.
Yes.
Molina. Pollock. Yes. Sheffro.
Yes.
Silva. Yes. Smith. Yes. Susan. Taylor. Yes. Vasquez.
Yes.
Winnicki.
Yes.
Okay, the motion passes. Okay, we did have some work to do on the executive session, but we're going to hold off on that until we get a couple of things squared away in a month or two. So we'll go to placement of 2015 budget on public display. I think I'd like to ask Mr. Onsick to come forward. May I have a motion and a second to place the preliminary 2015 budget on statutory public display? Moved by Ms. Allen, second by Mr. Heyman. And now I'll ask Joe to take us through what you'd like to talk about today.
Good morning. As you know, the proposed budget for 2015 has been completed. Highlights from both the operating and the capital budgets were presented at the Committee of the Whole on September 30th, and then a budget document that includes all of the line item detail and the various summaries had also been made available and has been distributed to you. It's available in both printed and electronic form. There's only one minor revision that has been made to the budget since it was presented at Committee of the Whole, and that is to decrease the certified copy revenue by $2,230 in the county clerk's office general fund budget, with a corresponding decrease to the general fund contingency line item. This $2,230 reduction reflects a 50-cent adjustment to the proposed user fee for death certificates. So the user fee would be $20 rather than $20.50. I make the specific clarification only because all of that detail was provided at the Committee of the Whole, and this is the only thing that has changed since then. So now we are asking this morning for the board's consent to place the proposed budget for 2015 as it was presented at the Committee of the Whole, and now as it is amended by this $2,230 adjustment on public display. And as the chairman mentioned, it needs to be placed on public display. That is a statutory requirement that it be on display for 15 calendar days before it is adopted by the board on November 30th.
Okay. Thank you, Joe. And we're going to open up for discussion. Just two thoughts occur to me. First of all, I would like to express my gratitude to all the members of the board, because each one of you has participated in putting together the budget. I think that it goes all the way back to May when we started in the construction process. I'd also like to thank all of the elected officials and all the department directors for what they've done in all positive cooperation. There was, in one of the newspapers, there was an account that we talked about at Executive Committee, but I would like to emphasize that the example that was used in the article was that county leaders recently rejected, one of the elected officials' requests to add a person, and that wasn't, it was an unintentional, I assume, inaccuracy, which doesn't give credit to the spirit and the reality of what had occurred during this process. That specific item was withdrawn in a spirit of cooperation and sacrifice. I would like to think there are cases of that in the state's attorney's office, the circuit clerk's office, the county clerk's office, treasurer, recorder, department heads, all the various areas, there's that spirit of cooperation. It's a very important distinction. The culture is different now, that it's involvement, it's open. If it's messy at times, it's just part of having everybody involved who would like to be involved. So we don't take away, people offer the positive. So I'd like to thank everybody who's been involved in this process, including the board members. So so let's open it up for any comments or questions? Any thoughts? Oh, Chairman of Finance Committee, Mr. Hoshite.
I just want to thank our finance director for all the hard work he's put in. The presentation of the materials is very user-friendly. It's easy for the board members, the committee members to understand, and the public. So, and Joe works tireless hours. I get emails at 9 at night or 5 in the morning sometimes, and so it's just, we should recognize that. And it's good to get done with this process so we can take a month off and start again next year, it seems like. But it is a constant process that we have to go through, and Joe's done a great job, so thank you.
Okay, thank you. I have to say, I have to observe that in 22 years of working on budgets, I don't think I've ever heard applause at a presentation. No. But Mr. Hoshite and all the members of the board and the audience, thank you very much. Back in May and June, at one of our executive committee or board meetings, I had let the board members know that I would be including executive team wages in the budget. Between now and the next finance committee, I'm going to be completing annual performance reviews and make the final recommendations for the raises ranging from 2% to 5%. In total, the amount of any adjustment will be under $32,000. So I don't know what the final number is going to be because the reviews are not completed, but they'll be based on performance, salary range deficiencies, and also individual managers' preferences. So that adjustment will come to the Finance Committee, and it will be less than $32,000 in total. Okay. Any other thoughts? If not, I'd like to ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion and second to put this on public display?
Allen. Aye. Auger.
Yes.
Bird. Castro.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Donahue. Ford. Froz. Gillum. Hayman.
Yes.
O'Shea.
Yes.
Kenyon.
Yes.
Kazari. Bosch. Lewis.
Yes.
Molina. Pollock. Sheffro. Silva. Smith.
Yes.
Susan. Taylor.
Yes.
Vasquez.
Yes.
Winnicki.
Yes.
Okay, and the motion passes. And passes unanimously. So thank you very much again for your good work. Okay, final item before adjournment. We do have a speaker on a non-agenda item. Let's see, I believe that Ms. Notke, you'd like to address the board?
Last time I addressed the board, I didn't need these, so.
Okay.
On August 14th, 2014, I filed a written formal complaint with our Kane County Ethics Office.
Microphone down.
Pardon me?
Bring the microphone.
Hello, can you hear me?
Maybe.
On August 14th, 2014, I filed a written formal complaint with our Kane County Ethics Officer. In my written complaint, I cited several examples of the violation in question. I also enclosed copies of those materials in my original packet. To date, I have heard nothing of substance, only that it is still under investigation. While the county's ethics ordinance was a noble attempt to bring transparency and ethical behavior to our elected officials, the officials responsible for the ordinance appear to believe it's totally unenforceable. When the ethics officer is appointed by the board chairman, we begin with public perception that no enforcement will ever take place. When the ethics officer recuses him or herself from ruling on an alleged violation, then forwards the complaint to the state's attorney, again we are faced with the perception that nothing will happen. Former state's attorney John Barsandi is previously on record stating that the ordinance in its present form is fatally flawed and much of it is unenforceable. The county board, after much additional deliberation, finally brought an amended ordinance to a vote where it was defeated. While I could forward a copy of the perceived violation to the Attorney General's office, the AG cannot force the local state's attorney to make a decision. The upshot is that the county board has utterly failed to address any of the issues raised by the previous state's attorney, leaving the citizens of the county and those board members that believe in ethics without any recourse. The ordinance as now written manifests a conflict of interest to those charged with providing the taxpayers of this county or any county with ethical elected officials. The state's attorney by statute is charged with representing elected officials. How can the state's attorney rule on an alleged ethics violation against the very elected officials he's charged with defending? This is not the fault of the county or the state's attorney. Ethics legislation is written by the state of Illinois and implemented by county boards throughout the state is an inherent conflict of interest for all. My complaint, along with alleged wrongdoings at the clerk's office and animal control, are not the only complaints that have been filed with the county that seem to have disappeared into a black hole. Today, I ask for a public report on all ethics complaints. If it is the state's attorney's view that these complaints cannot be prosecuted because the ordinance is fatally flawed, then let him say so. It is difficult to understand why relatively straightforward allegations of ethics violations, the facts of which do not appear to even be disputed, have taken up to 6 months to investigate. If this county board truly believes in government ethics, it is time for you to demand that our representatives in Springfield pass legislation that actually means something. It's time to legislate the amount of time an investigation can be conducted and the process in which a perceived violation is actually investigated. The public should also know on a regular basis what the status is of an investigation, and there should be a foolproof method of reporting. It benefits no one when an investigation drags on indefinitely with no resolution. No elected or appointed official, public employee, or citizen should fear retribution because he or she does the right thing. With respect to my original complaint, remaining silent while a subordinate accepts full responsibility hardly seems to be an example of honest, competent government. A citizen would be forgiven for thinking the only time politicians mention words like ethics, transparency, or accountability are 6 weeks before any election. Empty rhetoric with meaningless buzzwords. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Notke. Let's see. To also further put Ms. Notke's, well, first of all, Joe McMahon has the responsibility and is following through on his responsibilities to put Ms. Notke's comments into a context. Over the past 8 to 10 years, according to the Illinois State Board of Elections website, Ms. Notke has been paid more than $50,000 in political consulting fees by candidates like Sue Klinghamer, Kevin Burns, Shawn Michaels, Rob Russell.
That's so irrelevant, Chris. That's so irrelevant.
No.
You know what I'm referring to. It's irrelevant. I'm not pointing fingers at you. I'm pointing at fingers at a system that's flawed.
I understand.
For you to call out how much money I've been paid or donated to campaigns is irrelevant. Okay? It's irrelevant. You are responsible. Everybody here is responsible. Let's do the right thing and fix an ordinance that's totally flawed. And
Thank you, Ms. Notke.
Thank you.
I appreciate that. Thank you. May I have a motion to adjourn? So moved by Mr. Heyman, second by Mr. Kenyon. All those in favor? Okay.
Maybe a
Mr. Donahue?
It says we're adjourning to Tuesday, November 10. Is that, or is it not Veterans Day?
November 11th is Veterans Day.
So the meeting is on Tuesday the 10th?
No, it's on Monday the 10th.
Monday the 10th.
Sorry. Thank you very much for the clarification.
Discussion on a motion to adjourn.
Okay. Good.
Well played.
Okay. Moved and second. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, nay. Ayes have it.